Hey, what's up, guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome to another stream here. And today's Thursday, and it's been a while since I've done a stream where I actually do deck building and also just kind of helping out with, event decks and whatnot. So I thought that that's probably something we can do today. But in the meantime, while we wait for people to jump on, I just thought that I would at least go through the bosses here and showcase how to actually use this event deck. And so with the Edgar Allan Poe deck here, the way that you want to the way that you want to place your deck will depend on the cards that you have. And so the optimal deck setup is actually going to be one ultimate form, two ultra rares, and two master collection cards. I have just a single ultra rare card, so instead of putting in the event card, it's actually better to put in a support card. And if that's the case, then actually the better position. One of the things that you should do is put the cards in the position that will help you get the most out of it in an easier way. And so for me, what I do is I put my ultimate form on the far left. Then I put a support card right in position 2. So I'm actually going to also use position numbers to talk about the far left, middle, etc. So this right here is position 1 for me. I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from left to right. So position 1 is going to be your ultimate form, then position 2 is going to be your support card. The reason for that is you want to be able to activate the ultimate form, then activate your support card, immediately go back and activate your ultimate form. And then after that is going to be the Master Collection card, position 3 or in the middle. So then in position 4, or 2 to the right, would be High Justice Pit, the ultra rare card. So what you do is you activate your ultimate form, then your Master Collection card, then your ultra rare, then you go back and then you activate these two again. Finally, for me, I place my last shiny MC in the last position 5, and this is where we will get the maximum power gem output with this particular setup. So if you've got two Master Collection cards, one ultra rare, one ultimate form, and one support card, this is how you should set it up. And so we got some people here in the chat here, so welcome. Good evening, everybody. And so as I was mentioning today, what I want to do is just kind of go through the boss a little bit, and if anybody has any challenges with their decks, potentially we could go back and take a look, and I can see if I can help out a little bit. It has been a while since I've done any sort of a deck building focused stream, and so I think that's what we'll try and do. And so first I'm gonna just kind of put into practice what I was talking about. So going from left to right, or going from position 1 to 5, the way you want to activate is you want to activate your ultimate form first, followed by the support card. Then that's going to reset your ultimate form. Then you activate the Master Collection card next. Then it's going to be the ultimate ultra rare. And you can see it will then guarantee that your ultimate form and your Master Collection card gets reset. Then finally use your last Master Collection card there for the final gem output. And on turn 2, this will guarantee you to at least get close to 200 billion damage against a legend solo boss, and so you're going to be able to get overkill really easily. And with this particular setup too, you should be able to get 300%, 500% overkill on the ultra kill boss, I believe, in Prestige 1. At least you should be able to get close to it, depending on how much you awaken and how much you level up your bosses. And so let's take a look here. And there's also a couple of things I wanted to talk about as well, just with regards to the 24-hour bonus, 24-hour Unity tokens. I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on that as well, and also just to kind of talk to you guys about what I think, whether or not I think it's worth investing in. All right, and so Tim Lam, whether this deck will be good for legendary trials. So the deck is actually going to be okay. I think it's a glass cannon, so it's not going to last. It's not going to last enough in the Golden Trials if you don't have a healing card. And so I'll talk about cards that you can use in the heal. And I think that it can be it's a 3-turn deck, meaning that after you activate everything, you just need to wait 3 turns and you can activate it again. So I think that it should be okay. It should be okay against Rilka as long as you have a heal card. And so we got Yusuf here. I'll take a look in a second here. So what I'm gonna do is I wanted to get to let me go through an ultra kill boss first, because I wanted to showcase also something that's really cool, and that is how you would basically be able to take advantage of your ultimate gems. I'm not sure if you guys have tried it out or not, but just for novelty, just for fun, I wanted to try to actually get as many ultimate gems as I can on the board, and so we can see how much additional damage you can do with that. But in order to do that, I really needed to go with 3 keys, and without prestiging yet, it is going to be a little bit tricky because I deal too much damage. I could accidentally kill the boss, and so we're just gonna go ahead and do a couple more bosses. And then we're going to actually go ahead and do a couple of overkill and ultra kill. And then we're going to go back and take a look and see how we can help here. And so Shismar Johnson, first deck that you got 500% overkill bonus. Yeah, so this deck with this type of setup, just because of the sheer number of power gems that you can create on turn 2, it should be easy for you to get the overkill. And if you need a little bit more power, then you just need to attack a couple more times, and then you should be able to do that just fine. And so we just need to take out one more solo boss. As you can see, I haven't really pushed my solo boss very high either. And so we just take this opportunity, push it a little bit. And so Edwin Liang, why not run 2 ultras? Because I don't have 2 ultras. I just have a single ultra rare card. And so if you have 2, then you should run 2 of them. That is, as I mentioned, going to be the ideal setup. But if you just got the 1 ultra rare like I do, then what you want to do is you want to use your support card as opposed to your event card, because you're going to get a much better damage output in that case. So with the event card, basically you're getting just power gem 1s, and with a support card you can mimic it so that you can get a power gem 4, which is a lot better. And so that is the reason why support card in this case is a much better choice. And so you can see here, you basically kind of get into rhythm. The reason why I like positioning cards in a specific order is so that you can go through the muscle memory. You don't have to jump around too much, and it becomes a little bit more natural for you to do. Personally, I like going from left to right. Some people like to go from right to left. It doesn't really make a difference. Going from left to right gives you a little bit of a better benefit, because in cases where you can borrow an ally, so then that card usually comes on the right, and so you can use that as well. So you can sort of set that order. But this is I think the ideal setup right here with this team if you have the ultimate form. If you don't have if you don't have the shiny Master Collection card and you have just a single Master Collection card, then it would be better if you actually then put in another support card so that you can basically do another reset. So that way you can actually just place your support card at the very end. And so what you can do is you can, and then you'll want to mimic the ultimate form. Okay, so it's always about resetting the ultimate form rather than just the Master Collection card. So there's also another way that you want to do it so that you can actually basically activate the ultimate form as often as possible. Now I'm going to actually spend 9 keys on this one. I could actually use 3 keys, but I want to actually go through and try to get my skill point up to 300. We're going to try this and see how many ultimate gems I can actually create with this. So the first thing is I have to get my skill points to 300 without killing the boss. That's actually going to be the key here. So the trick is I have to avoid matching too many power gems, and I also have to make sure that I don't accidentally kill a boss too much. So what I want to do is I want to do these matches without combining them too much, and I don't want to do too much do too much of a combo. If you do too much of a combo, the damage can actually add up here. And so definitely not doing any power gem swaps either. And so I do plan to go up in prestige level after this. I just haven't really been pushing my bosses a lot over the last day or so. But I think I should be able to go up to at least prestige 2, given that I have this deck here. So that's going to be a lot better than how it has been for me in the previous. In the past. All right, so we got 7 seconds. So I also want to make sure that I don't time out here. So let's go ahead and do this. And this actually, so with this particular setup, I can only do 2. What I should have done is I should have actually used my Slayer deck because it has 1 turn there. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Right, so then you can see I can reset, and then I'll reset one more time, so I can actually do this. I can actually have 3 That's too bad. I can actually create 3 ultimate gems. It's just unfortunately I couldn't actually get them to line up next to each other. And so this is about a little over 6 or 7 trillion damage with 3 keys with this particular setup. I think if I were able to actually get the ultimate gems lined up next to each other, I could deal a little bit more. I really wanted to just kind of try out and see how much more output they've updated for the ultimate gems just to check it out, but wasn't able to do that. So let's see. So you've been experimenting between 3 ultras, 1 ultimate, and 1 master, and 2. Yeah. So I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think what people said is that 2 ultra rares is probably optimal, but it's a toss up between the 2. And so with just a single one though, I'll take what I can get. And so Chromosox and Carafini, yeah. So it's this, I think, with a single ultimate form, that's probably going to be the best bet. All right, so let's take a look here. We're gonna jump into somebody's deck now. It's been a while since I've done this, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Admiral Viper. And so let's see. Now, one of the things I try to do is I also try to do a setup that uses the Dark Legend with Almar, but as it turns out, you can't purchase Generation 1 Legends anymore from the Codex. I was actually surprised. I haven't done that. And so when I tried to look for it, it turned out I couldn't actually do that. So that was really unfortunate. You could actually buy back the Generation 2 Legends, but just not the Generation 1s. And you can also buy it back if you've ascended it. So if you've ascended it and then dusted the card, you can actually get it back, but not in its original form. All right, so let's take a look at your Dark Commander cards, and let's see what we are working with here. So let's see. So so you got 2 ultra rares, but you don't have unfortunately you don't have the Master Collection card. So you might as well then take advantage of the Raven. So you can actually have this full deck here with the 2 ultra rares and the Raven. And what you would do is you basically activate Ravens. So the setup would be you would place your Ravens on the far left, and then you would have your Master Collection, your ultra rares, and your support card. Then basically you would do Raven, ultra rare, Raven, ultra rare, and then your Raven again, and then one more support card, and you activate Raven one more time. And so depending on how many times you depending on how high your stack of I forget the term now, the stack of dread. Depending on your stack of dread, you could actually create quite a bit, because if you do on turn 2, for example, you start with 3 Power Gem 1s, and then so it's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So you'll be able to create 21 Power Gems, Power Gem 1s with this setup with just the two Ravens, and then with your relics, you're going to add a few more Power Gem 2s or 3s on top of that. With your cards here, I would recommend this setup. I think that's going to be a lot better than going with anything else at this point. And so, but if you have the Slayer, deck, then you could use that. But I see that you don't have the Slayer. You don't have the Slayer ultimate deck from the previous event, and so my recommendation would be that setup. Not sure if you're already doing that, but that's definitely what I would do. So that's how you would play it as well. If I had 2 ultra rare cards, I would show you how it's formed. But basically, just line your cards so it's Raven on the positions 1 and 2, and then ultra rares on 3 and 4, and then your support card on position 5. All right. Hope that helps. Let me know if that works for you. And so, Mr. Hoglins, you use the Slayer deck. It also is a really good deck. Even without a lot of, the commander bonus into it, it still helps a lot as well. So it definitely can be a good deck to use. And so, like, if I were to set this up, you have to probably, let's see. So I would actually swap this out for. If I were to do this, given that I have the ultimate form, I mean, I could do this, right? and that would give me at least the 13 bonus, and this can give me basically multiple ultimate gems, and I don't really need the reset. I mean, I could, but it's not really necessary here. I think I could also, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could put in a support card in here, but I think that this would actually give me a little bit more damage. And so let's take a look to see if there's any mixed. So yeah, if you mix, the best would be using Almar if you have it, I think. But depends again on the cards that you do have. And so let's see, Loki and Roy G, Turtle, game name Turtle Clan. Okay, let's take a look here. Turtle Clan, let's take a look here and let's see what you got going on. So you've got Almar. Okay, so you've got Almar here, and you do also have the Spirit United team. Have you tried it? Like, I would also give this give this full team a shot right here. And I think instead of the support card here, you'll want to throw in your, do you have the Master Collection card? Yeah, I think you have the yeah. So I would throw in. I guess I could throw in the Raven here because the Raven will actually create more power gems than the other command cards. But in this case, you have it's power gem 1 and it gives 10. So I think various different choices, but you might get better damage output using your Spirits United deck compared to your Dark Commander deck, in my humble opinion here, because you're going to be able to get the killer bonus with the Slayer deck, and you don't have that with your commander. On the other hand, we can also take a look at your other options here. So I haven't played with these cards in a while, so you have to bear with me a little bit. So I'm just going to take a look at the back of the cards as well. So we got Abyss Lord Nodens, which I believe was the Master Collection card. So it basically will create... Okay, so this is just a straight up 4 Power Gem, 4 Power Gem creation. So let's say if you wanted to just go... If you didn't have like the Spirits United deck, you have Almar Ascended, so you'll want to have that as the leader if you plan to use it. You should always use the legend card as a leader if you plan to use it, just because if you want to throw in a Slayer card, then it will also benefit from the boost there. So what would be a good option here if you're playing this with your cards? With your cards, I would actually recommend going with your Slayer deck. So I would go with the Slayer deck. I would go with the Spirits United. I mean, you've got Spirits United. You got your two master. You got 3 Master Collection cards. Spirits United, and you should throw in. I think you can mix it up. I think you'll get more damage with 4 Slayers in this case, because each of your Kadak will actually create more power gems. You just need to have a ultra rare card in there. So you should have the Spirits United, 2 MCs, and then the Spirit Caller Hetcat. That would be the 4. And then you could throw in a commander. The best would be one that gives you 10 times commander bonus. So in that case, any of them should be fine. It could be the Raven, or it could be any of the current collection cards. Really, you're just using that for your commander bonus. I think you're gonna get better damage output here, because if you put in Almar as a leader in this particular case, because there's a dependency on the Hetcat, then you're losing 1 spot. Then what you're gonna get is basically Almar, Spirits United, 1 Master Collection card, and the Hetcat, and then another commander, right? So I think that might not be as good, because you're losing a lot of power gems there. Each of these Master Collection cards gives you 7 power gem 4s, okay? And so 7 power gem 4s is actually quite a bit, I think. And so adding a 10 times commander bonus in there should be sufficient for you to get pretty good damage, especially since you're also getting that 10 times bonus from the 10 times bonus from Infinity, and also I think it was twice. Yeah, so it's 2 pink stars. You're also gonna get 600% damage. Definitely use that deck instead. All right, so So that was Roy G. That's definitely how I would recommend you go with that deck. In this case, go with your Slayer. Let's see. So Almar is so question from Edward: is Almar useful here? It depends on your deck largely. So Almar is a ascended legend that will also passively create power gems every 4 turns. So if you remember, one of the things I used to do, let's say the last, like the last commander event. It's so slow. Sorry, guys. What I would actually, do a lot is I would do something like this. I would set my Ray as my leader, and then I would have. So let's go fire. Let's go bounty hunter here. So one of the things I would do is, set my commander, my Ray here, and then set my Slayer cards in the middle on the left. In this case, I would have done something like this Despots of Despair, and then this, and then I would put 2 commander cards. So in this case, because I don't have the ultimate, then I could do something like, whatever the event card would be, and I could do something like this, right? So basically what I'm getting is I'm getting a lot of power gems from my Slayer deck. I'm getting the overkill bonus from my Slayer card, and then I just use my commander cards to give me additional bonus. So this is typically where where Ray really comes in handy, and you get additional damage boost out of your commander cards as well. So it's a win-win situation in that case. So that's why I typically in commander deck in commander events, if you have sort of a so-so commander card, but you have a relatively good Slayer deck, this is the way I would go, and that is throw in a legend, take advantage of your killer bonus, but you must have some commander bonus in order to deal most damage. Every commander bonus you get will give you additional damage burst, and it's actually pretty significant. Like every 4 commander bonus you get, for every 4 commander multipliers you get is, I forget the exact multiplier now, but it's actually pretty significant. So Judge of All, you got the setup with Elmar. It works well. Yeah, I would expect it to as well. So like typically I've seen good output from Legends there. And so let's see. Candy's been, hello, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us here. And so far so good. And let's see. So Doug Carafini, my next tier on Vault will guarantee you an MC. You already have 1 MC and 1 shiny MC. So I guess you're going to be going to tier 6. Would be interesting having 1 more MC, or be interesting buying this tier, maybe trying for 2nd UR. I think, this is one of those decks where having 2 ultra rare cards is going to be a lot better than just more Master Collection cards. I know from experience, just because your reset from your ultra rare is actually worth a lot more. You're actually getting double the number of attacks out of it, as opposed to just 1 more MC. In fact, if you have 3 MCs with 1 UR versus 2 MCs and 2 URs, you're actually getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits from the first scenario. Whereas with 2 MCs and 2 URs, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're getting additional output from there. So 2 ultra rares is going to be a better output for you there. And John Gomez, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Glad you can see here. So am I discussing decks? People that, yes. So the idea is, if you don't have a full deck, I kind of wanted to take a look and see what your cards are like, so that we can build something that doesn't actually require full deck. I used to do that in previous streams. It's been a while since I've done that, and I've heard a lot of people asking questions on how do I use this deck, and also like I've seen a lot of people that don't have a full deck, and so that's something I wanted to try to help as well. And so I mentioned earlier, if you have a single, let's go back here. If you have a single Master Collection card, what you should do is you should always favor putting in a support card in this particular deck over the Master Collect over the event card. And do I actually have my second? I don't think I leveled it yet. Oh, do I not have it? I think I sold it. So I don't actually have another support card to put in here. I normally do. Oh, I guess I needed it to craft, maybe. Or what did I do with it? I sold it, so I don't have my second support card, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would show it. But the point here is, if you were to have only one Master Collection card, then you definitely want to use a support card in that's what I was trying. That's something I wanted to discuss. So let me make sure I collected everything. And so yeah, it looks like I don't have. Okay. So I won't be able to show that. So while I'm here in the screen, I also want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the vault, right? So this is something I didn't get a chance to talk about, and that is the Unity tokens that are 24 hours. So we talked about it in my last stream about the fact that when you go up in tiers, you can actually get these Unity tokens, and as a guild, you can collect items. And so this is the original Unity collection that we see, and we are still, we're still waiting to basically, as a guild, this is what we've unlocked so far, and there's definitely absolutely zero pressure. We don't want to pressure anybody to go any further in their packs, right? So this is where we are right now, and I'm okay with it. And then yesterday they came out with the 24-hour special collection. And so a lot of confusion. A lot of people were confused about it. They thought that if they spent 1,000 gems to buy the pack to get the two 24-hour tokens, it would then go toward the total for this, so that we could potentially get the ultra rare card. So they added an ultra rare card in the 80 in this, and if you get 80 tokens total as a guild, then everybody gets an ultra rare. Really, really expensive, to be honest, because the maximum you can go to get these tokens is tier 6. So you can get a maximum of 6, I guess, or 6 or 3, I think. You can get three of these tokens, and so it's you basically, the entire guild needs to go into it. And so a lot of people had confusions about that, but it turns out that there's actually a separate collection. And I think yesterday it was all about the Dark Warden. So you can get a Dark Warden, and you can get a Dark Ascendant Warden, and today it's Fire Ascendant Warden. My personal feeling about this is that you would need at least 5 people in the guild that's willing to buy these packs to get the 10 tokens to get the Fire Warden. And from what I've seen, these Warden are still old. And so I wouldn't recommend going after these 24-hour tokens for these particular rewards, especially since if you look at the next tier, it's 25 followed by 50. And if you look at the packs that are available, today it's cash only. So you've got a pack that is $9.99 US and another pack that is $4.99 US. And the one that is $4.99, you get 1 token, and then for the one that is $9.99, you get 2 tokens. So the maximum number of tokens you can get this today is 3. And if we go back to the Unity again, so remember we can get 3 here. In order to get 50, you need to have basically 16 people, actually 17 people buying both packs in order to get the Fire Ascendant Warden. And so it gets really expensive every day to get these tokens for the guild. And I just want to say, if you wanted it for yourself, that's fine. Keep in mind that you're not guaranteed anything good out of the vault, and so you could still end up with not a lot of really good things, and the rewards aren't really worth it if you feel like if you feel pressure to buy just so you can help the guild. I would say don't. Okay, so please don't feel pressured. Social pressure in the game is not necessary. So this is just my humble opinion, that I don't think that these are quite worth the investment. Now, yesterday I did contemplate on spending 1,000 gems just because I have potential to get an ultra rare. If I pulled an ultra rare, that'll be good, but it wouldn't be because I wanted to push our guild to go that much higher in the token list. So that's just my personal feeling, my personal take on these. So just take it easy. I think that I know that people aren't pressuring others to spend, but it can. If you're really close, like if you're so close to getting to the other one, you might feel that pressure to help the guild a little bit. I think that, personally, I don't think that the words are quite good enough to justify that kind of pressure. So that's just kind of my take on it. So let's go back to the chat here. I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there. So let's see what else is in the chat here. right, so Loki, in order for me to check your deck, I do need to know your in-game name as well. So if you don't mind sending it to me, then I can take a look. Oh, I see there. It's Prince Loki. There you go. All right, so let's take a look there. I just saw your message, but I didn't actually see the name until now. So it's Prince Loki, and also you were also one of the t-shirt winners. So hopefully hopefully it's something that you enjoyed. Thanks a lot again for participating during the time when I was doing the giveaways. All right, so let's take a look and see. You want to, so let's see. You've been experimenting and you only have support in main. Okay, and so since you have the Spirits United and if you only have the support and the main card, then I would do what I mentioned earlier, and that is I would take away. So let's take a look at this deck right here. So this Dark Commander's deck. What you should do is you should put a Master Collection card. You should put a Haddock here, a Caddock, in place of your support card, because your support card doesn't. Your support card doesn't actually really do anything. Like what it'll do is it will create gems when it attacks, but it doesn't heal. It doesn't do anything. So you rather have ultimate gems, power gems instead. And so you have a choice here. You could choose to use the Raven or any of the collection cards, but I think the Raven is a good choice because it's a Generation 3 hero. And so all you have to do is replace this support card with the Caddock. And I think you should also change your relics to Slayer relics. You want to boost your Slayer damage as much as possible. And so this is the case where change out your Commander relics to Slayer relics. You're going to deal more damage than your current team right here. Okay, you've also got it's also 2-star, 2 pink stars, so you're definitely going to want to take advantage of the Slayer deck. It has more killer bonus, and you're going to be able to take out the boss that much easier, especially if you put in the relics there. Okay, so Prince Loki, this would be the team I would recommend for you. Given what you've got, I think you have the right team to do a lot of good damage there. And so, Edwin, you started playing 6 days ago. Sure. So, Edwin Liang, I'm not sure if you messaged me I'm taking a look at your, you need to send me your in-game name, and then so I will be able to help you there. But generally, what to dust, it's just, there's a lot of cards that you don't need anymore, especially if you are active in events. Just kind of build it up from there. So let's see. I'll just wait to see your in-game name, and then I will take a look. All right, so let's see here and taking a look at the message here. So you've got supports, you've got 3 teams, but getting minimum keys, minimum damage. You're seeing but getting minimum keys, maximum damage, you're seeing being hard here soon. Yeah, so it's with only support cards, it is going to be difficult. So that's where you'll want to take a look and see what other options you have. Power gems is really sort of where you need to experiment with in order to increase your damage there. And so let's see. You have too many things that can go 6-star. So a lot of things that can go 6 stars, if they're old, then generally the general rule of thumb is anything that can give you heal, you want to save. And so, basically, let's go to my deck, like my cards. So why don't I show you what I've kept? Okay, so let's go ahead and clear my cards. Now I have 380, cards. So I've sort of built up over time, but I've been dusting a lot. And so you can see I have 110 heroes that are Generation 2. So anything that is Generation 1 let's go through Generation 1. So anything that's Generation 1 are going to be your Wardens, and so you don't really count those. So non-Warden Generation 1s, I kept Quack the Hunter just because of it's just sentimental value, but he doesn't really have any value anymore. Neither is Indale, but Wicked Queen, Aladdin, Leifer. These are the 3 staple cards that you want to keep in your arsenal because they're always going to be handy. You're always going to find some way to use it, especially if you're not the one to get a full team all the time. These are 3 cards that you should always get. And honestly, you can now buy back cards really easily. So anything that you don't want to keep, that you don't have multiples of, like let's say you just have a single card laying around and you're running out of room, just dust it. If you need it later, buy it back with dust. You're not going to miss it. So that's how I feel about it. The other cards you never want to get rid of are your Star Color Commando, and your Yoran Swarmers. So these two cards you cannot get back from the codex, and these are your turn delay cards that will activate every turn, which is extremely useful for guild versus guild fights. So these are the two cards you cannot get back from, you can't farm it from a campaign, you cannot get it back from codex. It will take 20 weeks for you to get them. You can actually get the commander, the Star Caller Commando this event from the collection. So if you get it, don't dust it if you don't have any. Keep at least one. I keep two because I think that there are cases where those two are useful. And beyond that, you can see like everything else that you don't see here is safe to be dusted. Same thing with Generation 2. Now, Generation 2 actually has, there are basically cards that I don't keep a lot anymore. And generally, the ones I keep are ones that has a lot of power gem creation potential. And for me, I just kind of get to a point where the ones are much later on I've kept so far, just because I haven't needed to dust them. Really, I dusted a lot of the old ones. So Generation 2 is all about being able to create a lot of power gems and a lot of gems over time, as long as you have the intensity. And so those ones I kind of keep, or at least if I have multiples of them, I try to keep it, because you can only ever buy back one. And if I wanted to use multiple of them, then I keep them. But once I get it down to about a single one or so, I just kind of dust it, because I can get it back, I can farm it, I can buy back whatever, all of those cases. It's really not that big of a deal anymore. So the only ones I keep are ones that you can't buy back anymore. So all of these can be safely dusted if I wanted to, but let's say the one that you can't get back would be the Exanka deck, for example, right? So you see here, Exanka and also a Wasteland Spectre, Cannon. These cards you won't be able to get back because they're not in. You can't really buy them back from the store, so you can't get multiple copies of those. So I generally try to keep them just so I can get those around. And then I basically keep all of my Generation 3 heroes unless I really need the dust. Then I will dust it I would just dust the support. So that's kind of generally how you should think about what to keep and what to dust. All right. Sorry, I kind of went on for a while there, but hopefully this kind of explains it for anybody who is having that question as well. Tips for managing health using 1 key on Prestige 2. Honestly, because you're using 1 key, the heal cards are really not going to help. So turn delay will be the only other option. So you can use turn delay to give yourself a couple more turns before you you die, whereas just getting like a passive healer isn't going to really help you, because a passive healer doesn't heal quite enough in a 1 key scenario. It's really only useful in a 3 key scenario. So if you're finding yourself this is the problem, right? This whole deck doesn't have a lot of health, and so if you're gonna have 1 key with Prestige 2, you might find at some point that you're gonna have a hard time, and so you're gonna have to manage that a little bit. Try turn delay if possible. That might actually help a little bit. And so let's see. Yeah, the game is a lot easier than Puzzle and Dragon. I think it has, yeah. I think it's a very, very different type of game here. I played Puzzles and Dragons for a while as well. And this game has gone easier. At least the events have gone a little bit easier there. So Demos, you got, so 1 token each in tiers 2, 4, and 6. Yeah, so that's basically 3 tokens per person. You can't go up to tier 7 and get the tokens. You're correct about that. All right, so let's see. Chroma sucks. You've got a library of 340 cards and you still run out of space. That's my problem all the time. I'm always trying to remove cards here. Okay, so let's go back and I think I used 3 keys last time, and that was kind of a waste, and just kind of want to go back and do a little bit more boss pushing a little bit. And now I don't know about you guys, but I haven't really gone up a lot in the maps here. So generally, I kind of try to focus my keys in the earlier rounds. I might do floor 2, 1, just to get the additional ultimate boss tokens. But I haven't really found the need to do that. So I'm going to push my boss to 300. And I'm going to focus on my other bosses a little bit later. And so thanks for a t-shirt. Yeah, so Heck Cat with 4,000 heal, order of cards. So the Heck Cat card, I would say just put your commander card on the far right, and then you want to put your Heck Cat in position 4. So what that gives you is Oh, I used them. I picked the wrong team. Okay, so I need to hit this at least one time. So let's go ahead and hit this now so I can get a little bit more trophy. So my problem with this deck too is that they don't passively generate power gems on turn one. And so one of the challenges you might find is you end up taking out the boss too early unintentionally. And so I actually built another deck. I'm going to show you that actually right after this, how I actually dealt with the fact that the deck basically gets to a point where it's just too strong to take out the boss, but not strong enough to give you the full bonus. So what do you do there? And the trick here is you want to, you actually want to then adjust your relics. And so let me go ahead and take out this boss, and I'll talk about that a little bit. And so Koteito, okay. Thank you very much, Chromosux. I will go back and take a look there. And so before I do that, I'm going to show you what I meant by that. So like I had to adjust my deck a little bit. So this is my original deck. And if you take a look, I also have another deck that is for, I said ultimate, but really it was really meant for like the ultra kill and the overkill, where I just find myself killing them a little too early. So you can see here, basically what I did was I just put in the Generation 2 Fable relics in there. Now they also generate different color gems, and that was desirable for me because I don't want to fill up the board with too many gems on turn one. And so what I wanted to do is generate just enough gems so I can power up the deck and have minimal amount of damage so that I could actually do damage without killing them, and then I could fill up the board and then deal a lot more damage because these relics still power up my Fable cards, right? So these still give me basically attack bonus on my Fable cards regardless of the affinity. So I still technically have 5 relics that give me damage boost, and I have a dark one, basically Elmar's Scythe, that can also do that. So they still give me a power boost, but because on turn one I don't have all of those gems filling out the board, I reduce the amount of damage I do on turn one, so I reduce the risk of killing the boss by accident. All right, so let's go ahead here, Koteito. So this is, I think, yeah, so you're rank 46, you're just starting out. So taking a look at your deck here, so you've got the perfect setup right here. So, and this is, if I may, what you want to do is you actually want to then reorder your cards a little bit. So this is a case where you want to put your ultra rare ultimate form on, for this particular setup, you want to put your ultimate form on the far left, then a Master Collection card, and then the 2 ultra rare cards followed by a Master Collection card on the far right. So what you want to do is you always want to make sure that your ultra rare ultimate form card is activated every single time you reset. And so I would do ultimate form, Master Collection card, ultra rare, ultimate form card, Master Collection card, ultra rare, ultimate form card, Master Collection card, Master Collection card. So that would be the right, that would be the best way to activate everything, as opposed to just going from left to right here, and then you're missing out on additional power gems if you don't activate ultimate form. And keep in mind, once you get your skill points to 300, every time you activate your ultimate form, you're getting additional ultimate gems. So that is going to be important. So that would be my my recommendation. I believe this is the deck for Edmund. So hopefully that helps you as well. Yeah, so Mount Fillmore, these changes are unfortunately something that you know, can get really confusing, especially for newer players. And so that's why like I wanted to take this opportunity and really kind of explain the impact of these changes. I don't, like, I mentioned this before in my stream, and my personal take is, if you want to get these, you know, if you want to open these packs, great. Like, you know, that's completely up to you, how you want to enjoy it, how you want to play the deck. But I just don't think that it's good to add social pressure to these things, and to have these raised expectations that by buying these packs that it's definitely going to be good. You have to expect that you're not going to get a lot of good things, because they're not, you know, it's RNG after all, and there's no guarantees. And so, you know, as long as you understand those risks, I think it's okay. But just, you know, keep the social pressure out of it is my my recommendation. All right, so let's see, Nathan, you're back for some infinite. I just, you know, just doing what I can. And so Chromosux, thanks very much for joining again. And let's see. So what old cards would you need to dust? Oh yeah, that was what you actually wanted to do for. So Kote Ito. So let's take a look at your cards, and we'll use this opportunity to say, like, what do you want to get rid of? So you got 142 cards, and I would say keep. All of these Generation 3 cards are going to be keep. And so you want to keep Morte Thornos, a really good card. You have Orphana. So definitely want to keep that. I don't know how you got Orphana, but that would be the card that you want to get. You want to keep. And so what you would depends. Okay, so I dust a lot of my wardens. So if you already have an affinity of wardens that you plan to use, then you could potentially dust the ones that you don't care about. Aside from that, I dusted all of my Fennecs. So if MTN were here, he'll probably have a little bit of a heart attack, but that's what I did. So Grizzle Papa also, those are gonna be good to keep. And you don't need the Starblade Champion. That one's useless. Arabada you can dust. Master Wu is probably dust. Sailor's Bane, dust for sure. And so Lepora I would keep because you can actually reforge it. So I would keep it to reforge. Sylphie you can get rid of. Orchid, get rid of. Dala, basically everything from here below. Orsang is a good card to use, although you could honestly buy it back from. You can just farm it in the dust. Basically all of these cards afterwards down here. I'm just gonna see. Ra you want to keep. Architect Sophia I keep just because sentimental values, but you can keep or not. You really need Alexa in order to take to use her. So if you don't have her, then you don't need to worry about it. Golden Warrior could be useful, and obviously keep your Water Wisp, and then basically get rid of everything else. You don't need Drosh, Rowan, Perseus, all of these cards. Nighthawk you can keep. Nighthawk is actually number one, it's a collection card, so you can use it. And number two, it's a healer and gem spawner and usually comes in handy. So those are the kind of cards I would get rid of. Basically, you can clear out quite a bit of space in there. So Orphana is a card that can generate power gems based on the number of gems on the board. So one thing you always want to do is basically you want to take a look at the cards. You want to take a look at the back of the cards. And oh, I think this is this a reforged one? So no, it's not. So this is the non-reforged one. So basically, you can see here it creates 2 light power gem 3s plus an additional light power gem 3 for every light gems on the board. So this can give you basically 2 plus 7. This can give you 9 power gem 3s if you can fill the board with light gems. And even though it's a generation 2 card, you're powering up the rest of the cards. So this is actually a really good card to use in a lot of scenarios, especially in a light event. So this is also I guess it lost its Slayer bonus. So it's empowered though. So now it's actually empowered. It's just not a Slayer. So it will be good in any scenario, whether it's a commander or a Slayer bonus. So that's why I say you should keep it. Any card that has empowerment, I generally want to try and keep it so that you could deal more damage there. Okay, yeah. So I dusted all my Fennecs. It just doesn't. It just no room in my slots for that. So Tim Lam. So for Spire, I think my personal thing is if you need it and if you find you need it, then you can get it back. But a lot of the Spire levels now have been covered by by Generation 3 heroes, and so if you really don't have space, then I would start with ones that just don't help anyway. A lot of the Generation 2 cards aren't really helpful anyway, and if they need it, they can always bring it back. So Spire is, so if you might have, I'm not sure what the level requirement is for Spire. So Heavenly Spire is basically these levels where you need to have specific affinity and specific types to complete. And I believe the first tower floor 1 or 2 is actually where a lot of people had really big problems. But then again, so you got was it so 1-3 with the water technological. This was just the most recent water deck, so that should be something that a lot of people have. And the first one is light height, basically light. That's highborn. No, this is, gosh, I can't remember the exact. Is that highborn? Yeah, it's highborn and fable and blessed. So that's a lot of people don't have those, and so that's why you want to keep those cards if you're planning on going Spires. So it's it is new content, and I do have videos for those Spire levels up to 21. I've been kind of lazy about the rest of the towers after that, but take a look there and you can also see it. And so yeah, Luana, I saw that you have Luana there, and so that is going to be a So yeah, so Edwin, you do have Luana, so that's gonna be one card that you can use in there, which is gonna be really helpful. And so that's, let's go back, and I'm gonna try to get another ultra kill boss here, and then we're gonna go ahead and one key that, and you can. What I want to do is I want to also do a couple of bosses where not boss. I want to do with that boss. I want to try and maximize my damage if possible, so I can see if there's a damage difference. Now the other thing I wanted to mention is these bosses. One of them will always have your killer skill from the current event, and the other one is always going to be a killer skill from the previous event. So in this case, I believe this is human, so I think it's going to be noble killer. So if you have noble killer, and which is going to be the dragon one from the previous event, then you'll be able to deal good damage. But if not, then the way to think about it is really this is no different than a solo legend boss where you don't have a killer skill apply anyway. And so this is really where you'll have to really manage your damage. So like if you can't deal a lot of damage on turn 1, then you rather deal less damage than the actual health of the boss, so that you can take it on turn 2 rather than trying to take it on turn 1. But generally these low level bosses, you should be able to take it out no problem anyway. All right, so we've taken out our 2, so we're gonna go ahead and take out the 2 overkill bosses, then an ultra kill boss, and then we're gonna call it a day there. All right, so you can see here I got an overkill boss here that is Sherlock Holmes. Luckily, it's just at level 209, so I don't really have to worry. But this is one where if I were in higher prestige level, I'm going to have a hard time actually doing overkill here because I don't have the killer bonus. But this deck does so much damage that it's not going to be a problem. And I actually, honestly, I would have taken out my my Master Collection card on position 5 just to put in a support card so I can show how it all works. But unfortunately, I don't have another support card. It's not typical. It's atypical for me to have just one copy to support card. Typically, I like to run at least 2 because they generally can be very helpful for the free to play decks. All right, so we're gonna take out this one. We're gonna take another one, and then so with this particular setup, what you want to do is you want to get your dread to at least 12. Basically by 12 or 15, you should be able to deal more than enough damage here. Survivability might be an issue if you want to try and get up to dread stack to 15, but we'll see. Let's take a look here. Slayer on left or right, preference, but I think personally I prefer Slayers on the left, just my personal preference, and then the Commanders on the right. So Almar in or out, I would say try it without Almar, and you could try it without Almar. See how much that damage, how much that does in damage, and then you can then try with Almar in and see how much damage you get. So with Almar in, you get 4 additional commander bonus, so you're gonna definitely see a little bit of an increase. But because you're trading that for 7 power gem 4s, I don't know what the power, the damage trade-off is going to be like. So give that a try and see what basically. You'll have to check it out yourself. I don't have Almar to test out. This is the one case where I have the ultimate. I have the team, but I don't have the legend to try out, so I couldn't really tell you for sure. And so you'll definitely want to use Slayer Leader in that particular case. And so Artemis 11, yeah, sure. So we can definitely help you just before I go there. So let me know your in-game name. I'll take a look there before I sign off for the night there. All right, so what we're going to try and do is here, I could actually take this out in I can actually take it out in one turn. So with my bonus here, I could actually do overkill with one key, and I believe I can actually even do a overkill prestige 1 with one key here. But I want to try to raise my skill point as high as possible, or my dread as high as possible. It's not going to be possible for me to get to 300 skill point, which is unfortunate. I'll be able to do one more attack, and then we're going to go ahead and take out the boss there. Okay, so let's do this. So let's go ahead and get it set up here. So we're going to do 1, 2, and then remember you want to always activate your ultimate form as much as possible. And then let's see how much damage we do here. So I think on turn 2, I'm able to get about 900 billion damage. And so with it at the maximum stack at, was it 15? I think I think I did a 12. And so with this particular, with it at 12, then I actually did about the same. And so, you know, turn 2 and turn 5 actually wasn't too much difference. But you can see that with this particular team, just a single star, I'm able to do it. And with 2 pink stars, it's going to deal basically 50% more damage there, because it goes from 200 to 400, actually, yeah, 600. So it's basically 50% more damage, and so you're gonna have a you know, really good time there. So you know, so if people are asking a question like, is it worth it going after a second ultra rare? I would say if you get the second ultra rare card, it's definitely going to be a benefit. And so this is one of those cases where ultra rare is much more valuable. And so yes, if you have the resources, you would like to go for it, then it would be good to try and get that. So this is going to be my last deck for the night. We're going to take a look at Airtime Loving, and we're going to see what you're working with, and we will try and come up with something here. And so I like that you're using Nighthawk in your deck here, because Nighthawk is a healer as well as the collection card this time, so he has a 10 times commander bonus. Also a really good card because it's also a Slayer card now, so you can use it in Slayer as well. And so this card will heal and generate gems, so it's a really good option there. And so I see that you're using it with the support card. That might not be the best option. So let's take a look at your Dark Commander cards. So let's see. So what you're working with is 2 support cards. You have the Trusted Chariot. So you got 2 Trusted Chariots here, and you had a Nighthawk. So in this particular case, so Trusted Chariot is a nuke card, and it's also a support, right? So it basically nukes, but it doesn't create power gems. So I think that the challenge right now is finding a card that gives you power gem generation, which you get from Wasteland Spectre. But Wasteland Spectre will only create more power gems if you have Fable Honored Relics there. Fallen One is probably, you have Fallen One in your team. I'm not sure that's going to be as useful. So if you're going to run Commander, then I think using at least one, I would rather you put in a second copy of your support card, actually. In this particular setup, I would take out one of your Nighthawk and put in another pit, because your problem right now is you have too many Generation 2 cards. And you want more Generation 3 cards to do more damage. And this is a case where even if you just use the support cards, you still will get more damage. Just the 10 times committer, the 10 times affinity bonus is huge. Okay, and so you just want some more power gem creation. So let's take a look at your Slayer deck instead and see if you have any Slayer cards that could come in handy for you. And so you've got Hearn, Hetcat, you got Kano. So if you had Ascended Almar, it would be a good card to put in there, and in this case you don't. But you do have Gris Papa Ozo, but I don't know if you have the relics for it. And so the other cards I'm looking for are whether or not you have Soul Reaper. Is it Soul Reaper? Gosh, there's another name. Yeah, Soul Reaper or Hell, and it doesn't look like it. So in your particular case, you are going to be better off with the Dark Commander deck. And so in your case, my recommendation would be to put in 2 pits. I'm not sure I like the Trusted Chariot. You do have Motley Oaziso, which is a Generation 3 power gem generator, and also destroys gems. So I would level this to level 6, and then you can take out the Fallen One I would take out the following one. I would put in 2 pits, a copy of Nighthawk, Oiziso, and Wasteland Spectre is not a bad option, or you can simply put in a Trusted Chariot or a Manan Angal, which basically helps you create gems. And so what you want to do is, let's take a look at your gears. If you have at least some Dark Commander relics, then you could use that to your advantage. So you got 2 relics here. I guess you didn't go up to get the event relic here, so you got 2 of them. But you do have a couple of the honor relics there. Okay. So then in this case, put in another pit. Take out one of the Nighthawk. Take out fallen one and put in Oiziso. That way, you can get the most of. And then take out the God relic and put in your commander relic. Like, it's better for you to put in the commander relic so you can boost all of your dark heroes. So in this case, I would just take out the one for Nighthawk and the one for God. You don't really need them. So that would be my recommendation for team. Give it a try. I think you're gonna see a little bit of a better damage output with that particular setup. Okay, so give that a try. And so let's see. I saw another name here, and if there's no others, then I guess I can take a look here. But I'm probably going to end the stream in the next few minutes here. So, Mr. Hawklands, yes, I'm currently still VIP. I think I'm just gonna kind of keep it for a little bit because I'm basically like I'm just gonna kind of let it ride. I'm not really buying the decks anymore. I'm just gonna be opening a few tiers here and there. So having the VIP actually does help me. I actually do enjoy for me, I think it's worth it. So that's why I'm getting that. And so Wasteland Spectre creates only 2. It's the number of turns. So you can create it in more turns. But in this particular case, I didn't see any other better options there. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to end with Nathan Vogel's deck, and then we're going to call it a night there. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending the time with me here. It's been really good. You know, it's been a while since I've actually taken any time to do a sort of deck, a sort of deck recommendation, and I'm seeing some some good options there. So hopefully that's been helpful. So let's see. You've got a 2 pink star Spirits United. So if nothing else, use that full deck. I've been saying this all stream. You can use that, throw in a single commander somewhere, you should be good. And you've got the Chromatic Dragon here. So the Chromatic Dragon, I'm trying to remember what it does. So it basically creates... Yeah, so I haven't played with this, but basically it can create, it creates gems for the next 2 turns, on the 3rd turn creates... Yeah, so the 3rd turn is really where you get a lot of damage there. So if you are already using it, then I think it's good. In this particular case, I'm not sure if Almar is going to be as useful for you. Let's take a look at your commander first, because I think you're set already if you want to use your Slayer, but if you want to use your commander deck, I mean, you can use your dragon deck, but you're only going to be able to use that against the ultimate boss because of the killer bonus. But in regular bosses, you're not getting the killer bonus, so you're kind of losing out there. And so in this case, because you don't have that, I honestly feel like you might have an easier time simply going with your Slayer deck. Because you have 2 pink star on it, you're going to get that much more damage. And what I would do is I would put in the Raven as your... You could do this, right? You could put in Almar as the leader, Raven in as the second card. Then you can have the Spirits United and one MC and 1 ultra rare, so that you could actually get the power gems there. But although I feel like having 2 Master Collection cards, the Ultimate Form and the Ultra Rare, is going to be better for you in terms of damage. So give that a try there. And so that's going to be it for me for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for the time. Just answering some questions here. Mr. X asked a question here. Do I think using another deck with bonus killer would be good? So using a bonus killer skill for your commander events is always a good idea, even if it means using Slayer deck, because that bonus is going to give you that much more of an edge. And so that would be my recommendation. So hopefully this helps. Hope you enjoy your events here. So I'm going to be aiming for Prestige 2 personally, and then I'm going to see how I can one key the bosses. And if I get more information, then I will probably share that in a post, or you can check me out in my chat. So that's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your time. Enjoy your event, and I will see you in the next video, which is likely going to be next Tuesday. All right, take care. Good night.